Hey there, guys. This is Slamzaron, aka YouTube's Tasuke, and in my quest to try to catch up with all the news articles that I wanted to talk about that came from specific events, I'm going to talk about something that kind of was a bit surprising for me, at least a little bit. For those who don't know, during the PlayStation 5 event where they were showing a bunch of stuff, one of the things they showed was a trailer for a little game called Final Fantasy 16. And I had that day off, so I was just kind of chilling, and I was on my PS4 watching, and I'm like, oh, I'll take a look. And honestly, I'll go ahead and say it actually looks like something that's kind of right up my alley, which is sort of interesting because it seems like within the past few years, it seems like there have been a couple of games that have come out that's been like, oh yeah, that's like that's been like one of my dream games. Like I mentioned that with Dragon Ball Z Kakarot and whatnot. But here, I feel like this is sort of like my ideal Final Fantasy in a way. The trailer itself, I think it's supposed to be a teaser. It's like 4 minutes long, so it doesn't really count lengthwise for a teaser, but it doesn't really show too much. There is more information now that I'll try to have a link to, as well as a link to the trailer if you want to watch the trailer yourselves. But essentially, you seem to be playing as a guy named Clive, who's like this nobility person of noble blood. I think he's also a knight because he's one of those guys who apparently likes to use a two-handed sword with one hand. It's pretty anime if you ask me, because we see that in combat, which is actually an action-based battle system, which I find pretty interesting. It looks like they're trying to kind of build off of Kingdom Hearts a little bit, slightly, maybe with a little bit of I almost want to say Devil May Cry, but I don't think that's entirely true. Like it looks like you're going to be able to do some cool moves, basically, and kind of like Kingdom Hearts, but like a little more grounded, a little more dodgy, I guess. I'm not entirely sure how best to explain it. I don't think Devil May Cry was a good example, so forgive me on that. But it definitely looked kind of cool and actiony. You could almost maybe say Dark Souls. Maybe more Bloodborne, I guess. I don't think it's going to be that kind of technical of a battle system, though, even for Final Fantasy. But, yeah, so I think you're going to be playing as Clive. There's apparently going to be a part where he gets older, and he gets mad and wants to get revenge on somebody. We don't know who yet. Probably Joshua or maybe some king. Joshua's his little brother that you'll see. He's like this little like blonde, little red mage-looking kid. And he's apparently sort of like the keeper of some spirit or something, and he goes cuckoo, or he gets mad and like a giant monster comes out and destroys the kingdom or whatever. I don't really know, but it looks kind of interesting. Almost kind of reminded me a little bit of Drakengard, like slightly. I watched the trailer like 2 times, and the second time like it felt less intense. Might have been because I was just watching it on my computer screen, whereas I was watching it prior on my big, not really big screen, but like my bigger than my laptop screen TV. But I'm kind of interested in it. They're going back to the medieval fantasy thing, which I'm glad, because I feel like that's something I've wanted to see Final Fantasy do for a while, and that's another sort of thing I want. Honestly, in a perfect world, my ideal Final Fantasy game would be an action RPG set in Ivalice, where you can make your own character, and it maybe has some online thing, or you can play with your friends or something. Not really an MMO, but an action RPG with some multiplayer component, be it online or what have you. That would be my ideal Final Fantasy game. But then I feel like at the same time, I kind of want something new. So I heard that the Final Fantasy 14 people are working on this, or at least a few people are. So that kind of explains why they look a little similar. We don't see any other party members besides Clive, I don't think. But honestly, it looks right up my alley. So I'm probably going to give it a shot. I know it's a bit different for Final Fantasy. I feel like Final Fantasy has sort of shifted its image so many times that I feel like it's kind of hard to say what is Final Fantasy at this point without sounding like someone who's nostalgic for the old days. It definitely looks like sort of like a Hollywood version of Final Fantasy in a way, Even the chocobo like kind of look a little more feathered than I think most people are used to. I guess it does kind of looks like sort of like a grittier Final Fantasy 14 in a way, but it looks kind of interesting to me. Um, Obviously, I can't speak for the story too much because there's not really so much we know. Like I said, we do know a little bit more, and there's like some key art. And I think they revealed some other characters. I don't remember if they're going to be playable or not. I'd have to look at that article again. I'm not really going to keep too many tabs on this game unless like they announce something like just really amazing, like oh, it turns out that Clive actually dyed his hair black and he actually has red hair or something, or you can customize his facial hair when he gets older. If you want him to like have a nice beard and not sort of like that scruff that he seems to have going on, where it's almost like you're in the process of growing facial hair, then you can do that or whatever. But we'll see. Like I said, I think it's still a way. I don't even think it's going to be a launch game for the PS5. So I still got. I'll probably have a PS5 by the time it comes out, maybe. Final Fantasy games, particularly the numbered ones, tend to take a while to come out. So I imagine we'll probably be hearing about this game and being like, oh, we're still working on it probably for like a few years. Though it is kind of cool that we at least had like some gameplay to go with it. They definitely kind of tried to prepare it. We don't know if it's going to be PS5 exclusive. I imagine probably not. At least it's going to be on PC as well, I imagine. But the game looks nice, at least. Like I said, though, I'm probably still going to wait on getting a PS5 for the reasons I said before. You know, I want to make sure that they've sort of figured out the hard drive situation there, because I want to make sure, you know, we know what kind of hard drive we can get, or solid state. Because, like I said, 800 gigabytes is not going to be enough. As of this recording, though, because I'm going to upload the Lego Star Wars one first, even though as of this actual recording, I haven't uploaded that one yet. But at the moment, I'm in the process. It's like I got the solid state drive, which cost a fair amount of money. Because as I was doing my research, I realized that every other hard drive that was going to be over 2 terabytes was like literal size too big for the PS4 without actually modifying the case or the cage. And they're like, okay, well, and so I looked into the solid state drives and I saw they were actually pretty small. And I'm like, okay, well, I'll do that. And of course, that's more expensive. But I got actually at the moment, I don't know if hopefully there won't be any background noise from it, but I'm actually backing up all my PS4 stuff onto a Seagate 4 terabyte hard drive that I got for this. And the solid state came today, so hopefully within an hour or two, I'll be able to kind of get back to playing my PS4. But yeah, certainly because of that reason, I'm definitely going to be waiting on a PS5, because after spending the amount of money on the solid state, I'm definitely going to want to kind of take some time to kind of recoup. But yeah, anyway, I'm kind of interested in this. I'll kind of keep small tabs on it, you know, see what all is coming from. I do think they've confirmed that the game is in a completely new world. I think they revealed some kingdoms as well, so it seems like you're going to be traveling a lot. Based on the trailer, it does look like your character Clive is kind of part of a group of people, or ends up becoming part of a group of people, like other knights or something that he works with. So maybe that'll be your party, though. I'm wondering if it'd be interesting to see if like this is one of those weird games where it's like, oh, let's not have any party members at all, and it's just the one guy. I think there was maybe an RPG that did that. I don't remember. I'm sure anyone watching this can be like, oh yeah, you're talking about this game. Be like, oh yeah, cool. I may or may not have played it, because I don't know what game you're thinking of right now, because I can't read minds. But I'll keep some small tabs on it. You know, I have sort of a love-hate relationship with Final Fantasy that I've come to realize over the years. But I tend to like the spinoffs, like Type 0 and Dissidia and Crisis Core and Tactics, more than I do the mainline games, with the exception of like a few. Like I do have Final Fantasy 7, I've got Final Fantasy 1, I've got the 5 and 6 pack for the PlayStation, and I've got 10 too, interestingly enough. So I like some of the main ones, but in terms of like the ones that I actually legitimately enjoy playing and actually play to completion, or at least 90% completion, are typically the spinoffs. I still need to finish Type 0. We'll see what happens there. But yeah, I'm intrigued by this game, and hopefully it'll end up being good. We'll see what happens, I guess. This is Flamzeron, aka Tasuke, signing out. See you later.